In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a tape measure, along with some tips and tricks on easier measuring for your DIY projects. Coming up. Hey guys, it's David here from David's DIY Reviews. On this channel, we do how-tos on DIY products and materials, along with product testing from the best cheap equipment and materials you can get for your projects. So if you're new to the channel, definitely think about subscribing for more videos just like this one. The first thing to know about the tape is actually reading the tape measure itself, probably the most difficult part for most people. This tape in particular reads in inches and centimeters. For the first 6 inches, this tape reads in 30 seconds of an inch, and after 6 inches, it reads in 1/16 of an inch. So what that means, between each inch up to 6 inches, there are 32 increments between each inch. And after 6 inches, inches are divided into 1/16. If you're not sure the fractions of an inch that your tape reads between inches, it's really simple. You just count the lines between the inch, and that's what it is. The easiest way to figure out the fractional measurement on a tape measure is to look at the last even inch number, then count the lines afterwards, and it'll be that number divided by the total number of lines between that inch. So for instance, on this tape, if I have a measurement that's 7 and then a little bit more, and I happen to count those lines out to what the measurement is, and there happens to be 3 out of 16ths, then the measurement is 7 3/16. This tape also measures in centimeters, which is really handy if you're converting from inches to centimeters. My first tip for you guys is to know that there are 25.4 millimeters in an inch. So if you happen to be converting from plans that are in inches and using centimeters afterwards, it really helps. The next thing about a tape to know is the tab on the end. Often people will say to you, why does the tab on the end move? My tape's broken, the tab's already loose. That's actually not true. The tab moves for a reason. The tab on a tape moves in and out according to the thickness of the tab itself. If you're measuring up against something like this, the tab will push in. Same as if you're pulling off the end of an object like this, the tab will pull out to make up for the thickness of that line itself. Sometimes tabs on end of tapes can become bent or worn out, which actually brings me to my next tip. It's easy to start your measurement from 1 or 2 inches in if your tab is worn out or the end of your tape is worn so that you can't see the measurements. And you just start your measurement from a couple inches in and it'll always be precise. Another trick is to actually know the length of your tape itself. This is useful when measuring inside to inside. This tape in particular is 2 3/4 inches wide. So if you're measuring inside to inside of something and you can't quite get your tape to where you can read the measurement, all you do is butt the tape up against the end and add that width of the tape measure, which is 2 3/4 inches for this particular tape, to the measurement where it meets the tape, and that'll be your measurement. Another good way to measure inside to inside is to take your tape like this, put it down, pull it out, and actually bend the tape down like this, and then look to see where the tape meets the object. Very handy for a lot of construction work. Another thing I'd like to mention is a good way not to break your tape measure. If you happen to be measuring something that's very close to the overall length of your tape, it's really good to slow down near the end. For instance, this is a 12-foot tape, so if I was measuring something 12 feet long, I would slow down near the end because oftentimes your tape will overextend, won't recoil, and your tape is broken. Can't say I've ever done that before. Well, yeah, I have. Oh well. Another good tip for using a tape measure more like a ruler is just to pull the tape out, lock it in place. That way you can move the tape on and off your materials using whatever measurements you want to use more quickly than moving the tape in and out every time. And don't worry guys, if you're having trouble using a tape sometimes or reading the tape measure, it's one of those tools where you just keep using it more and more and it'll get easier and easier for you. Another good thing to know about older worn out tapes, or even any tape in general, is to be careful when you're recoiling the tape that it doesn't slide along your fingers, because sometimes older tapes can become chipped or worn to the point where the edges are sharp and they can actually cut your fingers. I've actually seen this happen and it's not that good. This is just an old trusty tape I've been using for a while, but if you're actually looking for a tape measure, I've reviewed the best cheap tapes on Amazon, so check it out in the YouTube card above. I'll also link that video along with the tape measures I reviewed in the description below. And hey, what tape measure are you guys using and what are your best tips and tricks? Leave it in the comments below, I'd love to hear. Because remember, sometimes the best information can come from you guys. See you in the next video.